How in the world did I end up with this stack of patterns? That story coming up in today's video, along with a peek at all the patterns. Hello everyone, I'm Sharon. Welcome to my channel. I don't do pattern haul videos very often. In fact, I'm not even purchasing that many patterns any longer. But I have a pattern haul of stretch and sew patterns that I purchased more than a year ago. Let me tell you how it all came about. On one of my very first makes video, way back 2 years ago when I started this channel, my friend Lori shared a couple makes with us, and she shared those because it was from fabric that she had purchased when we went together to Fabrictopia in San Antonio. When she was sharing those makes, she mentioned on a knit top that she didn't follow the instructions that were included, that she used a method called the Chanel trim that she had learned in a stretch and sew book. What? I've never heard of this. What is this Chanel trim, Lori? So I started hunting for the stretch and sew book. Well, I hunted online. I looked with my computer and my fingers, and I found one on eBay or Etsy or Mercari, or I'm not sure where I found it, but it also came with a bunch of stretch and sew patterns. Here's the book. I showed it to Lori. I was all excited, and I'm looking through here and I don't see anything that says Chanel trim. And she said, part 2. You have the wrong book. Oh, goodness. I didn't know there was more than one book. So I went hunting again on eBay, Etsy, Mercari. I don't remember where I found it. And I found the book. I found the one that Lori was referencing. This was originally written in 1967. This revised copy, I want to say, is early 70s. This is the one she was referring to. This book also came with some stretch and sew patterns. So I found myself, after purchasing 2 books and patterns, with quite a stack of stretch and sew patterns, which I had never sewn from before. I was familiar with quick sew, not so much stretch and sew. They're really great basics, and you'll see that in this upcoming pattern haul video. Oh, by the way, I did find Chanel trim mentioned in this book. I'll share that mystery at the end of the pattern haul. Let's have a look at my patterns. Number 250. This is a cap sleeve t-shirt. It has a tab front, an optional boat neckline or a funnel neckline. This is from 1967 and reprinted in 1974. Number 300 from 1967, reprinted in 1974. And this is a t-shirt with a cardigan. This one, I love it when somebody has already traced off the pattern, and I always hope it's going to be in my size. In the stretch and sew books, it calls for perky paper pattern. No, I said that backwards. Perky pattern paper. Here we go. And that's what this is. Here, I'll give you a close-up. It's just like the paper we can get today that has the grids on it. Just doesn't have the actual squares printed in. I have another number 300. This one is from 1976, and it looks like they changed not only the art, as you can see on the cover, but also they increased the waist size by 1 inch on all the sizes. The bust and the hip measurements remain the same. Pattern number 310. This is a t-shirt. It has a crew neck or turtleneck and long or short sleeves. This is from 1978. Pattern number 350 from 1967, reprinted in 1973. And this is a shell. It's got that high neckline, and it has 4 collar options: a mandarin collar, Peter Pan collar, a dog ear collar. Oh, that's so 70s, isn't it? And a square pointed collar option. Number 445. This skirt pattern is from 1978, and then there are 3 skirt options here. There's an A-line, a straight, and a dirndl, which is just a gathered skirt. That gathered skirt is just such a 70s look. Number 455 from 1979. This is a no-seam wrap skirt. I'm going to have to look at that pattern piece. That must be pretty big if there's no seam on it. I wonder if it's cut cross grain. I'm going to have a look on that. Number 500/600. This is from 1967. It was reprinted in 1974. And this is for a ladies or a men's cardigan. It's got that classic V-neck with the button front. I always think of Mr. Rogers. 626. This is a boat neck sweater from 1976, reprinted in 1977. It has a slightly dropped shoulder line, long sleeves. They look like they were slightly flared, and it's got some pockets in the front. I think this is a really cute little tunic. I'm going to sew this one up. 700 from 1967, reprinted in 1974. This is a simple pair of pull-on pants. It's got an elastic waist. What's interesting here is on the back here, it says the hip measurement is taken at 7 inches below the waist instead of 9 inches, which is what I believe most of the patterns are now. And there's not much else to say about this. 707, this is from 1977. Now on this pair of pants, it does say the hip is 9 inches below the waist. At some point, Stretch and Sew changed that. These are pleated pants. You can have pants or shorts. 713, London pants. I don't know why they're called London pants. And it says for fabric with 25% stretch. So I'm confused because I thought all Stretch and Sew patterns were designed for stretch fabrics. Perhaps that changed as she developed more and more patterns. I'd have to look into that a little bit more. This pattern is from 1976. It looks like the pants are probably slightly flared. It's got a zip front and a little bit of a wider waistband. 720 jumpsuit. They've been around a long time, haven't they? Just your typical button front jumpsuit with a collar and a tie belt. You could do this as shorts if you wanted to. And this pattern is from 1975 and was reprinted in 1976. 760, a blouse that buttons in the front. It has long sleeves that end in a cuff. It's got a collar with a collar stand, and it's from 1975. Looking at the line drawing on the back, it looks like it's fairly fitted. It comes in at the waist a little bit, and it's got a slightly curved hemline. Blouse 770. This one also buttons in the front. It has a yoke. It's got gathers right above the bust line. This has a straight hem with slits at the side. There are long or short sleeves, and those long sleeves do have cuffs. This is from 1967 and reprinted in 1975. 1025 blazer. This blazer has a two-piece sleeve. There's a notch collar. There are darts in the front and the back, and it has a welt flap pocket. And this is from 1967, reprinted in 1974. 1045, another jacket. This is from 1979. There is a shawl collar or an option for no collar at all. The shawl collar version has patch pockets and no vent in the back. Both of them have two-piece sleeves. The no collar option also has those patch pockets, but it has a vent in the back. 1050, set-in sleeve jacket. This one is from 1967, reprinted in 1976. This one appears to have a looser fit. There are side bust darts and a button front. It's almost like a shirt. 1350, a two-piece swimsuit. This was published in 1973, reprinted in 1974, and there are measurements here from the previous owner. She had a 29-inch waist and 42-inch hip. 356. Blouse with scarf from 1989. Now this blouse has a couple of neckline options. There's a mock turtleneck, there is a V-neck, and there's a ribbing neck and hem option. And then that scarf that buttons onto view A, which is the mock turtleneck option. So that's a separate piece completely. 368, sport top from 1988. This is a boxy style pullover. It's got ribbing options. There's ribbing at the bottom of the sleeves, at the bottom of the hem, and it looks like there's a patch pocket and a couple of neckline options. I'd wear this today. I think this would be a really comfortable hanging around at home shirt, and it's already been traced, so I'll have to check to see what size. Maybe 377. Look at the applique. This is applique pullover top. It's basically a sweatshirt. It's got the very typical 80s applique going on here, along with the floral applique. And this is from 1987. 380. Top applique. Another applique top for the swan. Is that what it's called? Top with swan applique. This is from 1988. It has a drop shoulder. It has a V-neck, two options for the V-neck. One is quite deep or a crew neckline. 448. This one is from 1987. This is a straight pull-on elastic waist skirt. There are side seam pockets and a vent in the back, and one of them has button trim in the back, and I think there are, there's buttons in there from the previous owner. 485. This is a jean skirt pattern from 1986. It's got some really nice details to it. I'm going to hang on to this one. I can always use a jean skirt. 724. This is from 1987. Famous Label pants. These are designer inspired pull-on pants. There's an elastic waist. There are pockets in the side seam. They are fuller at the hip and they taper to the hem. Do any of you have any idea which designer this may have been? This was 1987, designer inspired. I just don't know, and I want to know what famous label they're from. 1534, a t-shirt, dress, and top. It's got your cute little puff sleeve on the top. There's some ribbing options, V-neck or crew neck. This is from 1980. You know, I would wear this one today. I like that little top. 1578, The Traveler. This is a one pattern, many looks, and it's from 1986. It's mix and match bodices with that full skirt. So you could sew this as just a top, you could sew it as a skirt, you can make it as a dress. You have those neckline options, you have the sleeve options, a very versatile pattern. It feels really thick, I'm not sure. Yes, it's been traced. I'll have to see which one was traced. $2.45, surplice and hood/bag. So I guess this little tie front thing there is called a surplice. Okay, I think this is kind of funny, but this hood she's wearing, I guess you could also use it as a bag. Now that's versatility. Maybe not practical, but versatile. Included in that pattern lot were these little stretch and sew pattern idea booklets. I'm going to put a different video together for you so we can go through these together. There's quite a few of them here. They're quite interesting. I think you'll enjoy that. As promised, the mystery of the Chanel trim per the Stretch and Sew book is revealed. If you have this book, it is on page 56. It's called Chanel Trim. The classic and simple Chanel trim is an attractive neckline finish. And from what I can tell from reading this, it's basically what many of us use today to finish our necklines on t-shirts. You're taking your strip of fabric, that knit fabric, you're sewing it to the neckline on your t-shirt or your knit top, and then you're turning that to the wrong side, leaving, whatever you want that neck band width to be, so about a 1/2 inch. You're pressing that to the wrong side and then you're stitching in the ditch. But we need to remember, when this first was introduced in 1967, knits were brand new, and that would have been a brand new technique. I've also discovered over the years that it was changed from Chanel trim to French trim, and I'm sure that has to do with a copyright issue that must have happened somewhere along the way. That's your little tidbit for today. Drop me a comment below. Share with me what you know about stretch and sew patterns. In the meantime, check out another video. I'll see you in the next video. I hope you have a blessed day. Happy sewing.